Okay. Let me just. I'm going to shift to a bigger screen here. All right. So in this picture, you can see on the top right, this is the Lord himself, Kapila Dev, and this is his mother, Devahuti. So now the Lord incarnates in the world and he takes a mother and father. Doesn't mean that the Lord is just a regular human being born as a son, but he just arranges so that some great devotees have that experience of having the Supreme Lord as their son. So when Kapila Muni came to this world, Devahuti, surrendered to her son and said, "Please tell me about spiritual life and all." She has many questions. So these were the questions she had asked earlier that we already discussed. So first was, how can I get out of this illusion? I think that, I'm this body. So the answer was given in the 25th chapter, verses 12 to 27. So you got to follow the yoga of knowledge. You can do Ashtanga yoga and then Bhakti yoga. And Bhakti yoga is a supreme. This is the answer that Kapila Muni gave. Then bhakti, how to, how should you attain bhakti, she asked. So she said, there are two types of bhakti, Vaidhi bhakti and Vaidhi bhakti or sadhana bhakti and raganuga bhakti. Raganuga bhakti is when you are spontaneously attached to the Lord and you are having a relationship and you are emotionally attached to the Lord. You are sad about the Lord fighting in the Kurukshetra war, and just being a driver for Arjuna, and you're feeling you have feelings for the Lord and you have a relationship with Lord. That's Raganuga Bhakti. And Sadhana Bhakti or Vaidhi Bhakti is where you follow a process so that you can get that relationship with the Lord. And that's what we are doing here by chanting and learning about the Lord. Then the different processes of jnana. This is about the different elements and how creation happened. All that, those questions were answered. Process of yoga. This is the 8 limbs of Ashtanga yoga. That was also explained by Kapila Dev to his mother. Then she also gave her the different ways of bhakti, like Shravanam, Kirtanam, how you can hear about the Lord, and then you can develop bhakti. Then the question, so that we'll cover today. We are starting with chapter 29, and we'll end with chapter 33. That is the end of the 3rd canto. Nature of time, and then continual birth and death of the jivas. That's also explained today. So Kapila Muni gives a great explanation, and at that time there were no ultrasound or anything, but clearly he tells Devahuti what happens in each month of the little baby in the womb of a mother, and all that is coming today. So let's start. So she wants to know path of bhakti in detail. She wants to know what is the nature of time. And she glorifies Lord Kapila by saying he is Yoga Bhaskara. Bhaskara is another name for the sun, right? And bhakti is all about illuminating darkness. So she's calling Kapila Dev as Yoga Bhaskara because when she's in darkness, the light of the knowledge given by Kapila Dev is helping her come into bhakti. So he's pleased by his mother's words, and he tries to answer all her questions. So Now, bhakti is transcendental or is spiritual, but the performance of bhakti can be in three modes. In the mode of ignorance, that is, they have some, propensity to have violence. They have pride and hatred. They don't have much compassion. They are in the tamasic mode or ignorant mode. There are others who desire enjoyment. They they like Krishna and they pray to Krishna, but they are all about sense enjoyment. So that they are in the mode of passion. And then there are others who are in the mode of goodness, who just offer the results of all their actions to the Lord, and they are desiring liberation, and they want to get out of the material world, and then they're desirous of material world. So this is the three levels of performance of bhakti. But even higher than this, Kapila Dev says, are those devotees who doesn't want liberation, who doesn't care if they go to the heavenly planets or they go to the Brahma Jyoti or even Vaikuntha. They are not worried about that. They are only worried about, can I get more service for to do service for the Lord. So that's why bhakti is also called devotional service. So they only desire service of the Lord, because when they do service, they get the most happiness. So those are the topmost devotees. Then comes these three type of devotees. When one is in bhakti, they surpass all gunas. So the three gunas, they surpass that. And then Kapila Dev mentions about the different angas of bhakti or limbs of bhakti or different processes you can follow to progress in bhakti. Swadharma. Swadharma is good behavior and good activities. Swadharma. Then devotional acts without violence. Definitely, violence has no place when you're following bhakti. Deity worship. Again, it's not a rock or a stone. You are thinking that of the deity as a representative of the Lord or incarnation of the Lord. And because you can't see the Lord yourself, you have your Archa Vigraha with you, and you do deity worship to express your love to the Lord. So that will improve your bhakti. And then there's detached and spiritual vision. So not being too attached to the results, just doing it to serve the Lord, and you're not worried about whether it is going to just like Jatayu, he helped Mother Sita when Ravana was taking, but he lost. Yeah, like Ravana cut off Jatayu's two wings, but Jatayu still won because he did his best, and the result doesn't matter in bhakti. It is just the intention and the conviction and the faith with which you do something. That's all that matters. So detachment and spiritual vision. If you have respect for everyone, that's very favorable. You have compassion for like animals. You're compassionate to animals. You're compassionate to those who are not practicing bhakti or who are currently in Maya. You're compassionate towards them. You try to explain to them why being in bhakti and being the Lord's devotee is so nice. That means you're compassionate. You have friendship to your peers. So you have good friendship. You don't envy them. You're just happy to be their friend and help each other. You follow the regulative principles. That's also very helpful for bhakti. In ISKCON, we have 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxicants like alcohol. So that's a regulation everybody follows. Everybody thinks, oh, this is this is too binding, you have to, suppress yourself from doing all this. But actually it is a freedom. You're freeing yourself from your senses, your tongue, who wants to taste all these other things. You don't want to do that. You're actually getting freedom from being a slave of your tongue, right? So all that, you'll get the higher understanding. But people from outside may think, oh, these people are, crazy. They're just following all these very difficult rules. So it looks like they are a slave to the rules. But some of the rules are actually freeing you. So recently there was the Indian Independence Day. So the greatest independences are um, dependence on Krishna, and that makes us independent of all these lures of the world. And hearing about Krishna, just like all of you are doing, is of course a very, very favorable aspect to get bhakti. Chanting the holy names of the Lord, especially in ISKCON, chanting is very important. Who are serious, they chant 16 rounds every day. But we have to start somewhere. So we can start with one round, take a japamala, chant 108 beats and chant. Simplicity, we are not, we try to be simple materially, but spiritually we want to learn more and understand a lot more. So we keep things simple. Association, this is very important. Even if any of the other things are not followed, if you have good company or good association, everything will fall into place. So it is your friends, the type of friends you get that either builds you or destroy you. So this is I would say this is the most important aspect. No false ego is thinking that you are the greatest, and we tend to think that, and trying to suppress that is important, and thinking that we are this body, and that's how the false ego develops. So all these are the angas described by Kapila Dev to Devahuti. So one gets purified by the angas of bhakti, and it can all start with hearing and having the right association and hearing. And just as nice, the smell, the air takes us nice smell from flowers from the source. Similarly, this way the bhakti will carry this nice your soul back to Krishna. That's an analogy used in that verse. Now we spoke about what is favorable for bhakti. What is very unfavorable is beyond even meat eating or alcoholism. The worst would be to disrespect others, hate, or criticize the devotees. So if these are done, then it'll act very negative. So we got to make sure that we don't disrespect other devotees and learned men. We don't act in hatred, or we don't criticize. And the best way to, recently in America, yesterday there was a shooting in Jacksonville, Florida, where a boy who was 20 years old, he went and shot black people because from his birth he has been said, oh, black people are bad, the hatred is there. Just on the color of the skin there is hatred, right? So this is ignorance. You think just because a person is born black, he's bad. And this little boy, relatively little, but 20-year-old, he went and shot the black people and shot himself and died. So this is happening. So what is the best way to counter this? The best way to counter this is by seeing everybody having the Lord in their heart. So then you'll have equal vision. So if you look at black, white, yellow, any person, you know that the Supreme Lord is in his heart. And super soul, as a super soul, this four-handed Narayan form, the Shirodakashayi Vishnu form, is in the heart of um, every human being, and also even the animals. So that way we'll have equal vision of everybody. This is what is lacking in the world. Okay. And then the gradation of jivas are said. So the lowest is inanimate objects, then living objects that cannot move, entities which can move a bit, then entities who can make choices, that means has developed a consciousness. So consciousness means nothing but anything that can think, anything that can want something, has desires, and anything that has feelings, right? So thinking, feeling, and willing, this is called consciousness. So entities that have consciousness, and then entities that have senses. So this is slowly the gradation, meaning who are the more superior. So then there's those with touch sensation, those have legs, entities that have teeth, um, they have distinguished forms, those who can hear. So if we look at the animal kingdom and plant kingdom, we can see that animals have more sense organs and plants have lower. So similarly, you can see here, and as you can see, slowly you'll come to animals with 4 legs, and humans have 2 legs. So humans are at a superior level than animals. So within humans also there are different gradations, right? Those who don't have any values. Then there are humans who follow some nice rules and who are cultured and who live in society. The brahmanas who are always focused on the Lord, that those they are high, even higher than the brahmanas or Vaishnavas who are Krishna devotees. Right. So all this is all mentioned in by Kapila Dev, like who is the topmost among the living entities. And the best person is the person who is surrendered devotee, who has surrendered to the Lord, because he does everything to please the Lord and to serve the Lord. And he offers respect to everyone because the Lord is present in everybody's heart. Okay, we'll quickly finish this one. So in this is about the characteristic of time. Now, time is, Kapila Muni says, time is created by the Lord, and the Lord himself, who makes all the transformation of the material objects. So nothing is permanent in this world because of time. With time, you can see even planets disintegrate. Yeah, even inanimate objects and material objects, and objects that hold a soul in it, there is a beginning and death. So it's time is the shelter of everyone, enters everyone's heart, master of all masters, because Supreme Lord is the time himself. So this is very important lesson. Time is very important in our life. We shouldn't waste time, not even a second, as much as possible, because we won't get it back. Because each one of us have a stipulated amount of time in this world, and then we lose our opportunity to do the right thing. So we should make sure we use our time very well. Then the discussion is about life and death, how materialists, who atheists or people who don't believe in God, those are their life is mentioned here in this 30th chapter. So foolish men, they don't know the power of time, and they are carried away like the clouds are carried by the wind. Um, and then anything he accumulates during his life, all that is destroyed by time, because when he dies, he can't take any of those with him. And even if he was a rich man, he can become a poor man, because there is nothing is permanent. Then so life and death of a materialist. Um, um, and these materialists, even if they get a pig's body or a dog's body, they think, okay, let me just make the best out of it. Like, I'm a dog, let me go bite somebody, or let me engage in what the dog needs. So there's also a story of Indra, who becomes a pig, and with a lot of who was cursed to be a pig, and he was very happy eating feces and living like that. So that's the propensity. Once you become certain things, you just think that this is the best and let me enjoy what I'm doing. So as humans, we can think and see what would be better. Should I just live my life without God, or bring God into my life and become a devotee of the Lord? So these materialists, um, they they are only focused on their there are people who don't even care about their families, but then there are others who are very protective about their families, but they will do any sinful acts to become rich, or by corruption or doing those bad things. They try to bring in money for themselves and their family, and those kind of folks, it is said that one day the Yamadutas will come and pick them, and their old age and disease and die. Yeah. And then the Yamadutas, it said that they are pulled from their body, the soul with the body to suffer, given the body to suffer, are pulled. And you can see the picture, like an assembly line of people coming, and from the earth, there's like 99,000 yojanas. This is almost 100,000 times 8 times miles. So about 800,000 miles they have to cover in 3 hours on their feet. So they're pulled and dragged, and then they receive all this punishment. It's mentioned that they are taken to a hellish planet called Andatamishra, where all these wild animals are come to attack them, and they have to go through the pain, but they will not die. They still just have to go through the pain over and over. So this is the fate of people who do corrupt things and who live a life only self-centered and hurting others. Then the moving of the living entity is mentioned. So this is what I said at the beginning of the class. What happens at each month of the baby in the womb is mentioned so clearly in Srimad Bhagavatam. So initially, actually there's a lot of suffering when we all were in the womb of our mother. We are all confined in a little bag, and if the mom eats something spicy, salty, that'll really perturb us. And then there's bacteria in the body that's hurting us, our skin. We can't even breathe. If we cry, nobody hears. So this is everybody says, but like there is suffering even in the starts from the womb. So that's why we want to break free from this cycle of life and death. So it's clearly mentioned how the sperms are passed to the mother, and then how it makes a bubble is formed, and then it's like a ball of flesh. In the second month, the hands, the head, arms, legs all appear. In the third month, the nails, hairs, bones, skin develop. Fourth month, the 7 life airs develop, and from the fifth month, hunger and thirst develops, and everything comes with from this little cord into our belly button, right? Because we can't breathe in there, we can't eat with our mouths, so everything is coming from the mommy's blood. So all that is mentioned so well, and this was written 5,000 years ago, before there was no scanning or anything. So there are 2 ways to learn knowledge. One is to experiment, and that's the method of science called Avarohana Pantha. And this is the descending process. We learn from God Himself, like how we were created. So that's ascending and descending process. Okay, so when a devotee is born, devotee can remember like 100 of his previous births, and then he's praying to the Lord, "Oh Lord, please don't put me in Maya again, that I'll forget you, and please make sure I can come back to you in this life." But then when we are born, we forget everything. When we are expelled out of the womb, we come out with like that, and we are asked to cry. And everybody tries to make us happy with different things, but they don't understand what we feel. And we forget all that we went through in the womb. So each one of us have gone through all this, actually. Then we go through boyhood or girlhood, and then we become adults. But in the process, we have to make sure we, spend some time to understand who we truly are. We are not this body, but we are the spirit soul. And the worst part is associating with bad association. So bad company brings us down. If we have a sinful company, then they take us in the wrong direction. So all of you got to make sure that you choose your friends well. Sorry, we went a little over, probably because we, had to do a bit of recap. So let's see here. Yeah, this is the last chapter. I think, right. So can you stay 5 to 10 more minutes? We'll just finish this canto then and go to the Kahoot, or do you want to go to the Kahoot now?
Finish the canto.
Okay, thank you. So let's just finish these 2 chapters very quick. So those who are materialists, who are doing fruitive activities, who are just focused on their daily activities and don't have God in their life, they're called attached workers. They're all working towards making money and then spending that money and thinking that they'll be happy with that. So those are called attached workers. So they dharma, artha, kama. They're averse to bhakti. They feel like anybody who is praying to God is just a waste of time. They sometimes, go to the astrologers and tries to do prashchitta, or tries to do something favorable so that they can get more money, and because their all focus is on money and enjoyment. So it's said that they go to the moon planet, and then they'll come back. Then the higher than those kind of folks are those who do not worry about the fruit of their labor. They say, okay, whatever God gives, I'll take. I'll just do my duty. They have a higher sense of consciousness. They go to the sun planet. They go to the energy of the Lord, but they also fall down. Then there are others who, worshippers of Hiranyagarbha, or they worship Lord for and follow the rules, etc. But they don't have love for the Lord. So those are the ones, they go to Satyaloka till end of Brahma's life, enter Vishnu, and then they come back. Only when they take full shelter of the Lord can they go back permanently to the God's abode. Okay. So the best process is to surrender to Lord's lotus feet. So bhakti gives knowledge and detachment, and then we discuss about the various paths that ultimately leads to God realization. So there is a good analogy given, like milk. If you get a glass of milk, all of you, the best course of action is to drink the milk so that you can get the nutrients of the milk and it'll help you. But if some people say, oh, I just want to see the milk, so they'll see this white liquid in a glass. Some people say, oh, I'm going to close my eyes, I just want to hear the milk. So this is just the pouring sound you hear. Some people say, oh, I just want to smell that milk. But the best way is for your tongue to taste it and drink it, right? So that is bhakti. So all of the process, you're not getting the benefit of the milk. So that is why it is clearly Kapila Dev is telling his mom that bhakti is the best process, and he gives this nice example. Then he says, okay, I've answered all your questions. This teaching shouldn't be shared with anybody who is egoistic or who is atheist. It is meant to be only for devotees who respects this knowledge, who are friendly, who have a peaceful mind. But any haters of devotees or haters of God, we shouldn't share this knowledge with them, because it'll just over confuse them, or they'll just make fun of you, and then that'll in turn put them in a worse position. So we got to meet the people where they are. So if they can't understand what we are talking, we shouldn't give them the details about all this. Devahuti prays and thanks for all the wonderful knowledge she got from her son. And she's mesmerized to understand this supreme personality of Godhead, was born on earth from her womb. So she's very prayerful to Kapila Dev, and she says, she meditates on the Supreme Lord as Krishna, and she thinks about how the Lord first appears as on a leaf, and the Lord as a baby is sucking his own feet, because all devotees, they want to take shelter of the feet of the Lord, and the Lord as a baby is tasting his own little toes. That is the imagery she has in her mind. So she has such wonderful prayers for the Lord, and Kapila Dev is very happy that his mom has developed wonderful bhakti for the Lord, and he says he's going to he'll now leave for Ganga Sagar, and it is said that Kapila Dev is still present, like praying for everybody's peace, praying for peace in the world. He is a Supreme Lord. He can be present in this world however long he wants. So he's still present. And whoever hears this will go back home, back to Godhead, this story. Okay, that ends our class for today. Thank you for staying 10 more minutes. Now we'll quickly do the Kahoot. There are only 14 questions. So is everybody ready? Any questions on what we covered? The pin is 45149. So you can type this in or you can scan this QR code. Okay, Nitinji and Santoshji are on. Meenakshi, would you be joining?
Yes, Prabhuji, 1 minute.
Oh, is Ishwarji still on or he dropped?
Prabhuji, he's with me. He's joining with me.
Okay, okay. So is he joining?
No, Prabhuji, we are joining in the same device.
Oh, okay, okay. How about Hemanji? Can I start?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, good luck. Okay, what is the highest form of bhakti? Wanting to live in the same world as Krishna, wanting to always serve Krishna, wanting to have the same body as Narayan, wanting to have the same power as Krishna. Yes, the best is to always want to serve Krishna. Okay, Nitinji is in first place, Santoshi, Meenakshi and Ramachaitra ji. Devahuti glorifies her son, Lord Kapila, as Ashtanga Yogi, Hatha Yogi, Yoga Bhaskara, Yoga Karmi. Yes, it's Yoga Bhaskara because she was saying that Bhaskara is another name for the sun, right? So he is with his knowledge dispelling all the darkness. The light of his knowledge is removing all the darkness in our heart. So Yoga Bhaskara. Okay. Pure bhakti has 3 modes: ignorance, passion, and goodness. Yes, false is the right answer because pure bhakti is transcendental. It's above the 3 modes. Practitioners of the bhakti has 3 modes. Okay. Performers of bhakti can be in 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. True or false? I just gave the answer away. Yes, everybody got it right. Following the Angas, process of bhakti leads to merge with Krishna, pure bhakti, reborn in heavenly planets, all of the above. So sorry about that. The answer is pure bhakti. Because if you follow the process of bhakti, you will not want to merge with Krishna. That's more of an impersonal, um, like Ashtanga yogi who wants to be the energy of the Lord and merge into the Lord. That's not what bhakti yogis do. And in bhakti, we don't want to go to heavenly planets where there's a lot of enjoyment and there's all material enjoyment. But we want to go to Vaikunta where Krishna is. So that's why it's not all of the above. Okay. Offenses in bhakti, such as disregard, hatred, and criticism, leads to no peace. True or false? Yes. So if you follow bhakti and you say, oh, I'm still not feeling happy, but the problem is you're having all this hatred and you criticize everybody, then it's not giving the right result. One can overcome obstacles in bhakti by realizing the presence of Krishna in everyone. True or false? So what's the best way to remove all the hatred in the world is to understand that. Yes, true is the right answer. So then there won't be any, we won't look at others with hatred, thinking we are better or worse, because Krishna is present in everyone's heart. True or false? Time destroys devotees and inspires those who forget the Lord. So it's the opposite. Time destroys those who forget the Lord, because their body is destroyed, they'll get another body. But inspires the devotees, actually, because we know our life is going to end sooner or later, and so we take the name of take to bhakti, and then we go back home to Lord, because that will be end of our time here. We can go back to Krishna. Okay, true or false? A materialist who takes of his family by sinful means has to suffer in hell, under Tamishra. Yes. So in the name of taking care of family, if you do very bad things, you're going to hell. The jiva suffers in the mother's womb. True or false? Or yes or no? Yes, there is a lot of suffering in the womb. We mentioned how we are, constrained in a sack, upside down, and we are going through a lot of pain. And then whatever the mother eats, if she eats something spicy, garlicky, we are going to have a hard time in there. How does one lose all good qualities? Eating meat, saying bad words, having the wrong company, drinking and smoking. So we mentioned what is the worst. Among all these, one is the worst. Yeah, having the wrong company. The association is what's most important. It doesn't matter. Other things will, like if you have the right company, everything else will slowly fall into place. But if you have the wrong company, all the other bad aspects will start showing up. Okay, Radha Chaitra ji is in first place, Nitin ji, Santosh ji, and Meenakshi ji. Last three questions. Even Brahma and Kumaras are not liberated if they have no bhakti. True or false? Yes, it's true. Because starting with Brahma Loka, it's still the material universe. So to break free, you need love for God. Okay, teachings of Kapila are not meant for agnostic, envious, proud, materially attached to family affairs without bhakti, all of the above. Yes, in this case, all of the above was the right answer. Great job, everyone. Last question for today. Even a dog eater can become purified by the process of bhakti. True or false? True. Very good. So that's the essence. Don't matter what situation we are in our life. If we take to the process of bhakti, we can reach the topmost. So Santosh ji is in third place. Second place is Nitin ji, and first place goes to Radha Chaitra ji. Congratulations to everyone. Everybody are winners. And the podium is only to, motivate you. But everybody who played are winners in my book. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for staying 20 minutes after. I'm sorry that we ran too late today. Try to keep it on time. Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam, Vanchakalpada Rupascha, Kripa Sindhubhyo Cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandot
Hare
Pranam,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.